Um, do you realize that black people in America, okay, are the most financially successful across the spectrum of black people in any other country in the world?
I did not know that statistic.
That black Americans would be in the 95th percentile for income in any other country in the world on average. That black Americans have more successful businesses in America. You know, this concept of racism is a really funny thing. The question is, do they want to work through them? When Asian people had challenges in America, they worked through them. When the Irish had challenges in America, they worked through them. The Italians, you know.
So what I would say to this man is that a main problem with Black Americans is not money, it's the spirit. The spirit of Black people was broken and it hasn't been healed. And as far as the Asians, the Chinese, the Italians, the Irish, those people came here because they wanted to. They weren't forced to come here. They weren't forced to work, and they didn't have their labor stolen. So there is a difference. I know they would like to make it seem like we're all the same, but we're really not the same. But let's let him continue.
There's a segment of the black population, whether we like it or not, that has made a ton of money off of creating this victim mentality.
Yeah.
Instead of looking at all the positives for the black community. And I think the black community has tremendous opportunity, and they're doing a great job and can do better.
I take issue with a white person saying that Black people have a victim's mentality. We are the descendants of the people who were victims of this system. And as they say, DNA has memory. So we carry the memories of those people that were victimized by this system. Furthermore, some of us knew our grandparents and great-grandparents who came through the second slavery, and they told us firsthand what it was like. We saw what the suffering was like in their eyes and in the way they moved. So I resent a white person saying that Black people are playing the victims when we are the descendants of victims. Also, let us keep remembering that Black people are spiritual people. We are spiritual people. When I say that their spirit was broken, their spirit was broken and it's not been healed now. Some Black people handle slavery, Jim Crow, and everything that this system has thrown at us better than others. But some people did not handle slavery well or after slavery. So again, that is an affliction of the spirit that white people may not know anything about because I don't know how spiritual they are.
The black community has tremendous opportunity, and they're doing a great job and can do better if we give them the chance.
So there he is acknowledging that they haven't given us the chance. Not only have they not given us the chance, but they have taken away the chances that we developed on our own. I don't want to go into the massacres and the tragedies that our people suffered after slavery because it's going to detract from the fact that in spite of all of the obstacles that they put in our pathway, we still managed to thrive. So that's what this video is about. How rich is Black America? And we know that the riches that we have gained have come against tremendous odds. So how wealthy is Black America? Black America wields enormous economic influence with buying power projected to reach nearly $2 trillion by the end of 2025. Our buying power is expected to reach between $2.5 and $3 trillion by 2030, underscoring our growing consumer influence. And we know that we carry debt just like everybody else, but the focus is on the buying power that we have. So for people who run around here calling us lazy and poor, you don't wield that kind of buying power when you're lazy and poor. We hate to break it to the rest of the world that you're wrong. You don't have $2 trillion in buying power and are considered your own country within a country when you're lazy, when you're poor, and when you're dumb. Now, who is lazy and poor and dumb are people who abandon their homelands and run to other countries to steal and lie and cheat and beat their way. That's who's lazy. That's who's poor. That's who's dumb. Slavery ended in 1865, and by 1870, our people were already on the road to prosperity. And we know the obstacles that they faced at every turn, but they hit the ground running, and we've been running ever since. So watch this.
The Gilded Age was a period of explosive industrial growth from 1870 to 1900 that resulted in vast wealth accumulation. During this time, there was the rise of a small black aristocracy of wealthy, educated families, a black elite who carved out success in entrepreneurship, education, and politics. America's economic boom was fueled by railroads, steel, and oil, and a handful of tycoons like Rockefeller and Carnegie amassed fortunes while blue-collar workers faced harsh conditions. And it was much worse for most blacks who had to experience violent disenfranchisement, sharecropping, and the segregation of Jim Crow. Yet even as systemic oppression sought to confine and dehumanize them, Black America's upper class defiantly carved out spaces of excellence and influence. These trailblazers transformed their hard-won freedom into tools for progress, demanding equal rights, advancing education, and securing economic mobility. African American men and women formed social clubs through opulent celebrations and flourished, either in wealth, political influence, and social leadership. Several black families and individuals rose to prominence, establishing themselves as the elite black aristocracy. James Wormley, Robert Reed Church, Madam C.J. Walker, and the Bruce family established themselves as some of Black America's early millionaires and would pave the way for future civil rights leaders. Intellectual and cultural leaders like W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington emerged as very powerful leaders of the Gilded Age who would demand both representation and systemic change in their respective ways. Churches evolved into formidable institutions and sanctuaries of strength, cultivating dynamic networks and alliances that would fiercely champion black equality for decades to follow. The Gilded Age was also a critical period of growth for historically black colleges and universities, as they became essential institutions for black education, professional advancement, and economic mobility. The expansion of HBCUs laid the foundation for black intellectual and professional leadership, directly countering systemic racism. The black elite of the Gilded Age laid the groundwork for the Harlem Renaissance, the rise of the black middle class, and the ongoing fight for justice. Their story isn't just black history, it's a testament to the power of perseverance in an unequal world.
That's right. Perseverance is the name of our game. So this guy is going to break down for us why Black Americans are the richest Black people in the world.
Okay, first of all, we're going to start and we're going to talk about economics. The average black man that lives in the U.S. makes about $70,000 to $75,000 per year. If you're in a place like Kenya, like I am, I want to let you know that right there is a little bit over 1 million shillings per month. With that type of money, you're in the top 0.001% of society. That means to find another person making 1 million shillings a month, you have to go through 1,000 men. So when it comes to economics, Black Americans are winning. If Black Americans were to create their own country, they'll be the 9th richest country in the world. According to the Forbes magazine, the GDP ratio for Black Americans around the United States was 2.3 trillion. That means Black Americans have a $2.3 trillion spending ability.
And we make the most money because we live in a rich economy that we built or we helped build, however you want to put it. Now, let's talk about the sources of this wealth. As of 2025, there are approximately 1.79 million Black millionaires in the United States, not counting the billionaires. And this comes from entrepreneurship. There's a rise in Black-owned businesses, especially in tech, entertainment, and professional services. More Black Americans are entering medicine, law, finance, and executive leadership roles. Black Americans are excelling in real estate or entering the stock market and digital assets in higher numbers than ever before. And also, tried and true influence in sports, music, and entertainment continues to translate into significant wealth creation. And when it talks about the digital assets, a lot of Black Americans have gotten rich on these platforms, on these social media platforms. So the sources of wealth are real. So let me leave you with this. Black America now counts nearly 2 million millionaires. This shows historic progress in wealth creation. And yes, we have our challenges, we have debt, we have systemic inequality. Those things remain. But what this shows is that we do what we always do. We strive, we persevere, and we accomplish. So, how rich is Black America? Pretty rich when you consider all of the challenges that we have. Okay, thank you for listening. Have a good evening.